The other one as well, I would say, is natural supplements. And most people would say one is called NAC, which is called, and then in Inositol. St John's Wort is another one. Now, St John's Wort is a bit harder to find now because it's now getting regulated by the pharmaceutical companies. It's really good calmer. And then Valerian root. Now, Valerian root, you have to be careful if you've got low blood pressure because it can lower it more. But Valerian root is really useful. So if you have that before you go to bed, or chamomile tea is really good too, like reduce the stress levels and anxiety you have. Now, the other one is going into this is integrated approach. So the most effective treatment often combines traditional and holistic approaches. So working with a healthcare team is really useful. And this is regular sessions with mental health professionals. This is if your OCD is really bad. And as a hypnotherapist, I actually have had to put people to professionals to help them sometimes. But mostly if you're with OCD, you can sort a lot of it out with a hypnotherapy session. Coordination between practitioners and tracking progress and adjusting treatments for that. Support system, family therapy when needed. That's also people talking in your family, knowing what you're suffering with, dealing with. My parents were really good with that. Even my father and my mother, they were really good. Like if they knew I used to get into panic attacks, or I had an issues, or I got hyperventilating, they knew how to calm me down. So it's really useful for that. And then we go into support groups and then educational resources for family members. Also, that is needed for schools, because when I was at school, they didn't really understand OCD, and they didn't understand people with panic attacks, anxiety. It was kind of seen that you were the weird kid, and they didn't understand it. And also bullying is horrendous for children. It's not so bad now, but it was back then. I grew up in the 80s and early 90s at school, so very much that. Environmental modifications, so creating organised spaces, really useful for people with OCD. So have places where not too much clutter, not too much stuff, and working that out. Establishing routines. So that's the one thing you have with a lot of autistic children. They don't like routines being disturbed, and OCD people are exactly the same. So it's a big thing. Reducing triggers in living work environment. So sometimes that's why you find a lot of people with OCD can't work in other people's space, like an office space. It's too disorganised. If they can work at home and that's why a lot of people are very good, if they've got OCD, are very good at self-employment. And you meet a lot of people who have OCD have also do very practical jobs. So they're plumbers, so forth, and they're very like fastidious, very tidy people. Stress management is identifying your stress triggers, and this is where I think where hypnotherapy really works for people, because when you find out the stress triggers, is that you go back and find out where they come from, and usually it's from childhood. So then you can work with that, reframe it and change it so you don't have them so much. Developing coping strategies, again, very useful, and then building resilience. And everything, this is a big thing of all this, it's important to know that OCD treatment should be personalised. It's not a grand thing to work for everybody. And what works for one person may not work for another. Any treatment plan should be developed under the guidance of qualified healthcare professionals, especially when combining different approaches. So if you are interested in, or you have an issue with OCD, because I do know about the subject when I was a child, as also an adult where I've worked with people, please let me know. My name is Rich Clark. You can message me here on YouTube, Instagram or LinkedIn, and I am redoing my website at the moment, so I will be able to set them programs up for you. And also I do free consultations, so if you do message me and you want to do a free consult, then please do so. Anyway, until next time, speak to you soon.